So here's one that I've been excited about ever since I saw them teasing it online. This one by Fragrance du Bois is the brand new fragrance, a collaboration with producer Michael, and this one is called PM or Producer Michael, a very spicy fragrance, leather, iris, cedarwood, benzo, and amber. I'm really excited to give you my thoughts on this fragrance, so make sure to stay tuned. Now, before I begin my fragrance review of Producer Michael by Fragrance du Bois, and I tell you all about this fragrance, what it smells like, what notes really pop up off my skin, projection, longevity, all that good stuff, I do want to start things off by mentioning that if you are a fan of fragrance-related content, please do consider supporting the channel by subscribing to it. Make sure to hit that bell icon so you can be notified every time I upload a new video to the channel. And of course, give this video a thumbs up if you took something of value from today's episode. Now, of course, Producer Michael is a very famous record producer. He has worked with individuals such as Eminem and even No Doubt. And so he has quite an extensive repertoire. I would definitely recommend that you go ahead and check out the just body of work that he's produced. It's quite amazing. And this fragrance kind of harkens back, to the glory days of perfumery when fragrances were very strong and tenacious and they lasted quite a long time. And there are a lot of darker ingredients in here. So there's woods, cedarwood, there is a touch of smoke, there's cardamom. I know in the opening it says there's a secret floral accord, which is exclusive to Fragrance du Bois. So there is something floral in here and there is iris, but it's all about those dark, woodsy, smoky, resinous and balsamic ingredients. It's quite a strong fragrance. So I'm super excited to talk to you about the smell. Let's take a quick look at the presentation. Right as soon as this fragrance opens up, you are going to get a ton of spice and woods and a little bit of smoke. So I know there's cardamom listed in the note breakdown, and the cardamom that's in here, it's full of life, it's exuberant, it's a little bit enigmatic, right? Like it's kind of mysterious. You're not sure exactly what you're getting because the cardamom isn't working alone. So there's a lot of counterparts and a lot of moving variables in here. You have the cardamom, you also have a little bit of smoke. I don't know if it's coming from birch or some other smoky ingredient, but there's definitely a dark, complex nature to the fragrance. And there's also an Italian note, or accord rather, in this fragrance. And leather is a fantasy note. It's really just an accord of other ingredients that give off a leathery smell. Saffron is often used in the synthesis of a leather accord, so that would be highly believable, right? This way I could say it's a combination of two spices, the cardamom and the saffron, and wow, they go hand in hand. They are working in tandem to create a fragrance that smells very lavish, very exotic, very strong, and very extroverted, very outgoing, very charismatic. There's definitely a bold demeanor and a bold personality about this fragrance, which I really kind of like, right? You think about other fragrances like Interlude for Men by Amouage, that's also very bold, extroverted, charismatic. You also think of Tyrannosaurus Rex by Zoologist. So these are fragrances that are very like dark, but this fragrance has a certain complexity to it that I really enjoy. Even as you start getting into the amber in the base, it's an amber that is more focused or centered around the balsamic richness as opposed to the vanillic sweetness. Some ambers on the market, they tend to be on the sweeter side of things. That's not what you're gonna get here. It's a very rich, dense, balsamic fragrance with ample spice in the opening. I think it says there's a touch of lemon in here as well. I feel like the citrus and all of the other ingredients and even the florals are kind of drowned out by the spice, which is a good thing, right? The spice is what I always say smells exotic, smells expensive, and the spice kind of adds to the complexity and the intricacy of the fragrance because people don't immediately know what they're smelling. So it's going to take a while to sort of like digest and unearth it and say, oh, okay, yeah, that is cardamom, or oh yeah, that is nutmeg, or what have you. So definitely spicy. The cedarwood is here. There's a lot of, base heavy ingredients working their magic in the base. The reason I say that is because this stuff lasts a very, very, very long time. I own over a dozen Fragrance de Bois fragrances, and one thing I can say about this one is, I don't know if I could say it's the longest lasting one, but it's one of the longest lasting fragrances from this. It might actually be the longest lasting Fragrance de Bois in my collection because it's so strong and there's such a strong emphasis applied to the base ingredients. So there's a lot of woods, spices, and there's a little bit of a floral personality, but like I said, it's kind of secondary to all of the other ingredients that I mentioned. And the leather in here is very dynamic, and you can tell the spice has a lot to do with it. Definitely shapes and molds that leather personality into something unique. And it also creates a leather that I haven't quite smelled in other fragrances, right? You think of a Tom Ford's Tuscan leather, it has the raspberry, even ombre leather, right? Which actually happened to be my scent of the day today. Ombre leather is kind of on the more dry side of things with the saffron, but it kind of has like this interior of like a luxury car kind of a vibe. And here there's so much more of an emphasis on the spice and the amber that it just adds to the richness. Very well done. I'm a fan of this fragrance. I cannot wait to wear this more in the coming months, although I think summertime might be a little bit difficult, but as long as I'm indoors in a climate controlled environment, you better believe that I'm going to be wearing this fragrance. Let's go ahead and finish things off with my overall assessment. Now, first up, in terms of the uniqueness and the overall smell, none of the notes in here are brand new notes for me, but there's something about the combination of these notes specifically that create a novel olfactory experience, meaning I've never smelled this DNA before, which is awesome. I always love trying new fragrances, and this one did not disappoint. Overall smell, like I said, because of the spice, it could be a little bit on the darker and more challenging side of things. If you're a fragrance connoisseur, if you like some of the finer things in life, you're gonna love this fragrance. If you're used to your citrusy aquatic fragrances, this is gonna be a very strong change of pace from that. In terms of the longevity of this fragrance, you can expect 12 plus hours. This thing is super long lasting. Projection on this fragrance was great for the first 2 hours of application, and then it did start to sit closer to the skin right around that 7 to 8 hour mark. Very good performance from this fragrance overall. In terms of the versatility, I think this one will really shine in the colder weather. Somebody who's a little bit older, more mature, and has more experience with niche fragrances will fully appreciate this fragrance. Totally unisex in my opinion, and I can see this one being worn in a formal scenario. When you're dressed to the nines, you really want to convey your best self. Presentation, I love the plaque label on the front here, and Fragrance de Bois has been making some really eye-popping labels, and I definitely enjoy the luxurious and opulent look of their bottles and boxes. My final verdict on this fragrance is it is a spicy amber fragrance that really pops, super extroverted, incredibly long lasting, and offers a new DNA that I can't quite compare to any other fragrance on the market. I'm a fan. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. That was my review of PM or Producer Michael by Fragrance de Bois. If you own or have tried this fragrance, please let me know what you think. Leave a comment down below. Also, please don't forget to support the channel by subscribing to it, hit the bell icon, and give it a thumbs up if you took something of value from today's episode. Thanks again for watching. Love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.